Today, we're going to dig into the final desperate days of the ancient kingdom of Israel. Now, I know it's a pretty dark chapter of history, but the story of how a nation can just completely collapse, well, it holds some powerful and frankly timeless lessons. So let's get into it and uncover what exactly went wrong.
So I want you to picture this. Nearly the entire nation of Israel has been swallowed up by the relentless Assyrian Empire. I mean, they are a superpower. And all that's left is the capital, this walled city of Samaria, standing all alone against the mightiest army in the world. It is literally the last bastion of a kingdom, on the very, very brink of being wiped off the map for good.
But here's the thing. This wasn't some sudden catastrophe. According to biblical scholar Dr. John Oswalt, this was the predictable end of a slow, steady decay. A long downward slide that had been going on for generations. You could say the kingdom was basically rotting from the inside out. And that, right there, raises the crucial question. I mean, standing on the absolute edge of the abyss, was there any hope left at all? Could anything have stopped what felt so inevitable? That's the tension at the very heart of what we're looking at today. Okay, so first up, let's start by looking at the last king of Israel, a man named Hoshea. He's a really fascinating case study, a real paradox.
We're told Hoshea did evil, but, and you guys, this is a huge but, he wasn't as bad as the kings who came before him. Think about that. He was the only northern king who didn't explicitly follow all the corrupt practices of his predecessors. So he was a lesser evil, a slight improvement, and yet, spoiler alert, the kingdom still fell.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the concept of a point of no return. Actions have momentum. They have consequences. A society can get itself so far down a certain path that, as Dr. Oswalt puts it, even if you decide to back off a little bit, the crash is already unavoidable. It's just too late.
So you've got King Hoshea. He's facing this absolutely hopeless situation, and he makes a decision that on the surface looks completely insane. He decides to revolt.
I mean, let's be real. Why would a king of a tiny, surrounded city-state choose to poke the bear, to defy the world's greatest superpower? It seems like pure self-destruction. But to understand it, we have to look a little deeper, into the psychology that really drives this kind of rebellion.
And at the very bottom of it all, it starts with this foundational belief, this idea of absolute self-ownership, a flat-out refusal to be submitted to anyone or anything else. From there, this belief hardens into an uncompromising will. It's not just about owning yourself anymore. It's about imposing your will on the world, no matter what the consequences are. And there it is, the final conclusion. This rebellion, it isn't some brilliant strategic calculation. It's an emotional reaction. It's born from a deep fear and a deep distrust of any authority outside of the self. Ultimately, it's choosing total destruction over submission.
Now, of course, this whole situation raises a much bigger, much more complicated ethical question that Dr. Oswalt really pushes us to think about. Is all rebellion wrong? Is it ever justified?
To get our heads around this, we can look at a few different approaches. You've got King Hoshea, whose revolt seems to come from a place of pride and fear. Now, contrast that with, say, the American revolutionaries. You can argue they revolted for religious reasons and really as a last resort. And then you have this third example, Jesus, who actually chose submission, but to fulfill a completely different kind of mission. The key takeaway here is that the motivation, the why behind the action, is absolutely everything.
So the crucial point is that the source material isn't trying to give us some simple black and white formula. It's actually forcing us to think really deeply about our own relationship with authority and how easily we can justify our own actions based on what we call civil necessities.
To get an even clearer picture of what was going on inside Israel's walls, we can turn to the prophet Isaiah. He was writing at this exact time, and wow, he uses a really powerful metaphor to describe the leadership. Just listen to this language. Isaiah sees the leaders, we're talking the princes, the priests, the prophets, the whole lot, as a bunch of drunkards at a party. They're wearing these wilting wreaths on their heads, while their kingdom literally burns around them. Their tables are, in his words, full of filthy vomit. It's such a damning and visceral image. But Isaiah isn't just talking about being literally drunk on wine. He's describing a spiritual condition. It's a state of being so intoxicated with your own pride and self-indulgence that you become completely, utterly disconnected from reality.
And the symptoms of this are crystal clear. When a leadership is spiritually drunk, it just can't make sound judgments anymore.
It becomes focused only on its own pleasure. It loses all sense of balance and proportion. And most fatally, it develops a complete blindness to the reality that is staring it right in the face.
So this brings us to the final and pretty sobering conclusion about why this kingdom was well and truly doomed. It's really as simple and as brutal as that. The fall of Israel wasn't just a military defeat. It was the direct result of a leadership that had, for years, chosen to blind itself to the truth. They were staggering when they needed to be walking a straight line. The ancient prophets issued this call to action, and it wasn't just for a dying kingdom back then. It's a timeless challenge. It's a call to all of us to wake up from our own self-induced stupors and see things as they really, really are.
And that leaves us with one final question. When we look at our own lives, our own societies, our own leaders, are we walking a straight line? Or, like that proud crown of Ephraim, are we staggering, blind to a reality that could overwhelm us? That's definitely something worth thinking about.